Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Shah, and on behalf of Calwass, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have very another interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about the spinner innovation model. What is the concept of spinner innovation model? Why to create or design spinner innovation model, how to use the spinner innovation model in research. The world is changing and the role of innovation is very crucial than ever before. So we need to understand the concept of spinner innovation model and its application in order to be innovative enough to compete in today's dynamic world. So you will get the best insight about all these things as we have an expert with us in this session today. So stay tuned because amazing stuff are coming ahead. So before we start, I would like to thank the Calwass for arranging such a enlightenment sessions, for their support and providing such a wonderful platform. The aim of Calwass is to give you the opportunity to interact with world-renowned speakers, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to share their views, experiences, tips which will create an impact and will enable you to learn new things and develop yourself in order to grow individually and as well as to contribute to the world at large. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have an amazing person who has dynamic experience and an internationally known and recognized speaker. He is a great human being who is always support and ready to share his knowledge and contribute to the world in different way. So let me introduce him formally. He is a chairman of Spinner Innovation Center and professor of innovation at Lusófona University, Portugal. He is the research fellow at the Research Unit for Business Science at the University of Beira in Interior, developing studies in innovation. He is the preferred peer reviewer for the economics of innovation portfolio to Routledge, Taylor, and Francis Group. He has the international membership at the International Society for Professional Innovation Management as a professor researcher member in values based innovation to discuss innovation with 70 plus countries in consulting, industry, and public sector. He holds a postdoc in management and economics innovation from the UBI and PhD in management sciences innovation from the Federal Fluminense University Engineering School. He was recognized as the Portuguese PhD in management by University of Beira Interior. He is the author of Spinner Innovation Model, published in Intex International Journal. He has edited and co-edited books on strategy, knowledge management, and innovation, and published paper in international journals including Journal of Knowledge Management, Business Process Management Journal, International Journal of Social Ecology and Sustainable Development, Journal of Family Business Management, and Journal of Global Information Management. He is the researcher who develops studies applying the Spinner Innovation Model. He is an associate editor, editorial board of Innovation and Management Review Emerald. His research includes the interests include knowledge management, innovation, bibliometric analysis, artificial neural network, and cluster analysis. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Dr. Ronnie Figueiredo. Welcome to Calwass platform and thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you, Prof.
Thank you very much for this amazing introduction. I'm Dr. Hadershat. I need some few seconds to share my presentation.
Sure,
Just
please.
thank you very much.
Yeah. As a reminder to the audience, Dr. Ronnie Figueiredo will be presenting the slides for 30 to 40 minutes, and then at the end he would leave the question and answer session. So you can ask the question at the end of the session. You can email us or you can write in comment section. We will definitely ask the Dr. Ronnie
Okay.
Figueiredo to answer it. So over to you, please, sir.
Can you see my presentation on the screen?
Uh, Prof, it's not the right one, I think. It's not the right one. Can you go back and just select the application or window only, Prof?
I will try do again. Let me
Sure.
sharing screen, sharing screen again.
And then, Prof, the window only.
I don't know what happened. I think I'm sharing. This is the correct. I
There
have the
would be two
option.
options. Yes, there would be two options. One entire screen, and another would be window. So
I
if your
have I
slide,
have I have two options. The first is full screen. The second is only screen. I will try the
full,
second now. Let's
yeah,
try the second.
it's completely fine, Prof. Now
It's
you
good
can
now.
open. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, very
Let's
good.
open it.
So thank you very much. The correct was the second option, only screen, not full. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, let's discuss a little bit in terms of the spinner innovation. As this is a good and great introduction, thank you very much. My name is Ronnie Figueiredo. I'm a researcher and a professor in Portugal. I have been working with the innovation topic for a long time ago. I love this topic. I have a passion for this topic, and I have the opportunity to bring more information, especially in terms of the spinner innovation. What is the spinner innovation model? How I create the spinner innovation model? How can you apply and the others information like that? So, in the first part of my presentation, I created the background, the context in terms of the spin innovation model. In the second part of my presentation, I introduce some pieces, some parts of the spin innovation model. Consider this second part as a puzzle when I introduce a piece of puzzle, piece of a spinner model. And then in the third and the last presentation, I conclude the model with all the pieces integrated in a spin innovation model, and how can you apply the spin innovation model to do your research, academic and scientific research, or in a consultancy approach. Okay, let's move for the next slide here. Yes, good. So it is spin
Slides
innovation.
are, sorry for interruption. Your slides are not open. We are just able to see your the folder.
You are not seeing the slides?
Yes, Prof. Your slides are not visible. Just the folder we could see.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I will try to share again.
Yes, please.
Uh, okay, I have here no. I think now will be correct. Let's try again. Now you can see?
Yes, it's wonderful. Perfect.
Okay, sorry. I will repeat. So this is the first imaging that I present. This is the Spin Innovation Model. My name is Dr. Ronnie Figueiredo, and I'm the founder and the chairman of the Spin Innovation Center that I will present in the end of this presentation. The main idea is to introduce what is the Spin Innovation Model in the first part, the context, the background about this. In the second part, I'm saying that I will introduce piece of parts of the spinning model, and then I will conclude in the third part presenting how can you apply the spin innovation model in a scientific and academic researches and in a consultancy or in a professional approach in the marketing. The spinner innovation. What is the spinner? What is the reason? What is the main conceptions behind the spinner innovation? The spinner innovation is the breakthrough, of course, work based created by me. The idea was inspired in open innovation concepts. What is this open innovation concepts? The open innovation concept is an inclusive opportunity, is increasing model. When you can invite others models, you can combine the spin innovation model with others innovation models. Suppose you can combine the spinner innovation model with the open innovation model, with the triple helix model and the others, famous and published and scientific innovation models. The second ideas and the opportunities and the goal of the spinner we can conclude with a different approach, and you can use with different statistic techniques in terms of the spinner. So I have two options. You can use spinning with others methodologies or models, or you can use spinning including different statistics analysis. Okay. Just a little bit more information in this background, this context of the spinner. Spinners are created based in two main words, dimensions and variables. During the presentation, I introduce what is this dimension and what is the variables for using the spinner in your research. The spin innovation have a core, the essence of the spin, the basic of the spinner innovation was knowledge intensive business services. KIPS. Knowledge intensive business service is a specific innovation area, was a specific innovation line, is a specific firm, is a specific business that provide a strong, a specific professional knowledge to support different enterprises around the world. So the name of this company, these firms, is a specific knowledge intensive business service, KIPS. Okay, so we create this spin innovation model based on KIPS. That's the idea. The spin is considered an open source model, as I said, when it can invite different stakeholders or partners or students or colleagues and so on, combining with different methodologies or innovation models and with different techniques. I have been using spin innovation in the different sectors, economic sectors, like agriculture, like tourism, like consultancy sectors, hotel sectors, and others, using different statistics or different math analysis as machine learning, econometric, structural modeling process, and so on, and so on, and so on. So Spinner is totally free and totally open for you increase your point of view and make this model growing in terms of the science. Regarding the model was developed to contribute to the European Commissions in terms of SME, small and medium enterprise performance. The European Commission is associated with the Portugal Commissions, the Portugal government, create a strategy for the government to support SMEs in terms of innovation, in terms of the technology or innovation technology for these exactly small and medium enterprise. So here in Portugal, we have a government agency named ANI. In Portuguese, you can say Agência Nacional de Inovação. In English, you can say Innovation, Agência Nacional, National Innovation Agency. Sorry, National Innovation Agency. It is a specific in the public organization in Portugal that have focus to support SMEs in terms of innovation, and of course, the spinner innovation model must be aligned with this practice, this some direction that created by these government agents. In terms of the knowledge that you bring for the model, when you apply, you have public knowledge, you have private knowledge. Public knowledge is all the knowledge are available on the market in terms of the innovation ecosystem, in the stakeholders, in the partners, in the other firms, research centers, universities, and so on. So we can combine, you can invite someone, some enterprise, some university, some research center to work in a co-creation process with you. And the other hand, the other position, private knowledge is the knowledge that already exists in your business. So this is the knowledge that you create, executing the process day by day. We know that every day people are adding value in the organizations, putting your knowledge, your know-how, your expertise, your intellectual capital for make the difference. So this is the critical knowledge for the organization. This is the knowledge that exists only do executing the process only business. This is a critical knowledge. This is the technical name. The idea is to bring this knowledge, combine public and the private knowledge to concluding three main outputs. Professional, technological, or cultural knowledge or intelligence. What is that? So when you combine public knowledge with private knowledge, the knowledge that you have, the knowledge that you need in your ecosystem, using them all to make this process, these match processes, you have three main outputs. You can combine the three two or only one. So we can bring in terms of the needs, technological innovations, cultural innovations, or professional innovations, okay? So here, after this background, this is short introductions based on the spin, what is the spin innovation model, the reason to create spin innovation model. I am moving for my second steps in terms of the presentation, my second part of the presentation, when I am present the piece of the model, parts of the model as a puzzle. And then I present all these parts, integrate, and then in the last, how can you apply the checklists, the matrix for your thinking decisions, and so on. Okay, let's move in step by step, very quickly. The first thing that you need to think before you start using this spin innovation is what is the behavior aspect in terms of the enterprise. So enterprise in general need to think, if it's a condition, if I apply the spin innovation on this business, I need to consider what? First, if this enterprise has a result oriented, you have a focus on the results. Second, if the mindset, the behavior of this organization are looking and prepared for making change on this entrepreneurial mindset. So we need to have people and culture falling the same direction, making the organization change, bringing new ideas, share with colleagues, with students, depends of the organization, okay? And then the main goal after I have a focus and I have a mindset to change is the business transformation, the end of innovation happening. So being in mind, three main words in terms of the behavior aspect: results-oriented, entrepreneurial mindset, and business transformation. Here, this is the business environment that I introduce in terms of the public knowledge and the private knowledge. Just to remember, public knowledge is the knowledge already exists, available on the market. You can pay or not, depending on your intention and the partnerships. And the private knowledge is the knowledge exists in your business, okay? So you need to consider the second moment in terms of the model, the environment, the ecosystem that you are analyzing or you are inserting to start your connections, your relationship. Then you need to identify the dimensions, the three main dimensions of the spin innovation model. First, economic sector. What is economic sector for you? Which economic sector you are considering, and so on, like that. Economic sector, suppose, as example, agriculture, forestry, fishing, services, and the other, tourism, and the others, okay? So in general, you're looking for a country, then you're looking for a region inside this country and asking for a specific people. What is the main activity that's bringing more value, that's contribute for the economic sector, for your region growth? And then you analyze the firms, which is the best, what is the best firm, what is the main firms that contributing for your region, for your economic sector, and then classify if this is a small and or medium enterprise, okay? So I mean that we classify in terms of the size. Then you need to identify the variables. This is the core of the spin, the variables, the four main variables. All the time, for the next slide, you bring the four variables for you. The first is knowledge creation, the second is knowledge transfer, the third is knowledge intensity service, and the last one is the service innovation. According to the name, knowledge creation is not that you having been or you need to create to support your innovation process. The same is knowledge transfer, is a process that you transfer knowledge between your partnerships in your ecosystem using the spin innovation model. The knowledge intensive services or knowledge intensive solutions is the same for us in the spinner model, is the solution that you provide to bring the value for the business. Of course, when I say bring the value, this is the process that you are co-creating, adding value, adding information, creating knowledge, transferring knowledge, for you have the results in terms of the innovation. So if you create knowledge, if you transfer knowledge, you develop a solution, bring value, of course, you can have opportunity to make the innovation happen. But be in mind, it's not simple like that. I'm explaining for all the audience. It's not a structure or a puzzle process. You need to test. You need a good resilience. And of course, one day or one time, the innovation could be happening in your business. Okay. So these pictures that you are seeing on the screen, this is the model, and you can identify in the website, in the some papers, some book chapters. In this October now, we will launch the new image of this model, but the essential of these pictures will be the same, okay? Here, we create some checklists. We have two checklists. The first is the checklist of the model, and the second that represents is the checklist of the flow. When you start thinking the conceptions of the spin, the main idea was to analyze the prompts to innovate in the SMEs. So in general, I have been listening, looking, and studying that people say, oh, let's make innovation happen. Oh, let's make innovation happen. You need to innovate, you must innovate. But the main goal for innovate, you need to analyze if you have, of course, needs to innovate. But before that, in my own opinion, you need to analyze if your organization or enterprise or firm or any other similar word have a prompt to innovate, have potential to innovate. If you don't have a potential, if you are not have prompts to innovate, it's very, very difficult to make the innovation happen in your business. So you have idea, you have a motivator, but you don't have the prompts analyze if you can innovate or not. So that's the idea when they create the spinner innovation model. After that, my colleague is asking, okay, Ron, now you understand what is the spin innovation model. The simple way to understand is spin innovation model is a model to analyze the prompts to innovate in a SMEs. It's a diagnosis model. Very, very nice. Okay, but now we have another needs in terms of the spinner. It's another challenge for you, Ronnie. So we need to think how can you structure or a process to try to make the innovation happen. So this is the second checklist that we create that I present for you in the next slide. Regarding the checklist of the spinner model, we have all these items. I read it very, very fast just to have the ideas, but not to understand everything now, because I know that during this presentation, I have a lot of information to share with you. Okay, so first, to use the checklist model for you analyze the prompts to innovate in SMEs, you need to identify, of course, the name of the firm, you need to identify the sector, you need to identify the size of the sector, the country of this firm, we need to identify inside the country, the region, because in some countries, the region is totally different. The number of employees involved in this process, in this business, identify the time of firms exist, identify the services that you are providing to support the customer needs, check if your firm, your business, your enterprise are involved in a specific co-creation process or creation knowledge or transfer knowledge or knowledge intensive solutions already provided or innovation happening in this business and what type of innovations and so on and so on. Then we need to identify if this organization have a private knowledge, which type of private knowledge you are discussing, if you need some public knowledge that already exists outside the organization, which type of knowledge is so important to bring through your partnership on your innovation axis to support your business and so on and so on. So it's a big discussion for you try to make innovation happen. This is the main goal to discuss, okay? Then identify if this business are interested to make the change happen to try the business transformation. Assess, of course, the data, collect the data, and calculate using the spinner model, and then check the results, analyze the prompts in totally, overall, the results, or analyzing the results in the specific variables, knowledge creation, knowledge transfer, in knowledge intensive solution provide, or in innovation as a consequence. Okay. Here, after that, I received another challenge. So, Ronnie, everybody knows that we create this model focus on the SME, but it's not possible to stay all the times applying this model in SME. Would you like to apply this model in a startups? Would you like to apply this model in keeps firms, in a big company, and so on? Does it possible? Yes, totally possible because it's a scientific, economic, and a management model. So you can apply in the different objects. Objects, I mean companies, enterprise, big companies, small enterprise, any different definitions. So regarding this matrix, we decided to think in four approach to spin innovation model using the four variables. So you can consider only your kids approach, only startup approach, only SMEs looking for the marketing. I will explain. So imagine I will explain the complex situation. It's much simple because it's complex, but it's more easy to understand the complex situation. Imagine you are working or try to working with innovation in an ecosystem with different partners involved on this innovation process. And the name of this partner is small and medium enterprise, startups, and cubs firms. So imagine this scenario. Then I explain only one scenario, only one approach, sorry, not scenario. Scenario is the next presentation. So imagine KIBS, you can invite a KIBS firms that have a strong knowledge in a specific area to interact with a startup to create a knowledge. It's a one step. Then we can looking for this startup that invite this KIB to interact to create knowledge, to apply the knowledge creating in terms of the solution in a specific SME. And then, of course, this is a specific SME can develop solutions and transferring this knowledge for the customer needs on the market. And then, of course, this is the innovation that are happening in terms of the solution, the value adding on the market. And then the same enterprise or the same firm named Keeps can looking for the market, analyzing which type of innovation are the organizations are doing, are happening, and measure if the results after sharing in create knowledge with the startup, after the startup apply this knowledge intensive service solutions in the SME, after SME transfer this knowledge for the customer need, if this is an innovation or not, and which type of innovation we are discussing. And of course, we are saying that it's so important to measure this process in terms of the evolution. Here, for discussing before apply the spin innovation or after you apply the spin innovation model, we have four scenarios. In general, when you try to apply the spin, the main problem that you identify is you have data available, you don't have data available. And the second, this is enterprise are having a propensity to innovate or don't have a propensity to innovate. So this is a meant to keywords, I'll be simple, saying only keywords that you need to consider because data is the main resource for you creating information, for you transforming information in a specific process, creating a knowledge. Knowledge is exactly the experience after you using the information created based on the data you align it. And then, of course, the fourth step is after you apply this knowledge, you are creating innovation, bringing value for the region. This value is when I say value is economic development and social impact. Okay, regarding this matrix, in terms of the scenarios, we'll have two things. Imagine organization. This organization have data or don't have data. Available are data are available, unavailable. And this organization have a low or high propensity to innovate. So imagining the first scenario, this organization have a low propensity to innovate and unavailable data. So I don't have a data resource, I don't have a potential or a propensity to innovate. So this is an insecurity moment on the organization. I don't know what you do. I'm completely without light. I don't know the direction I need to follow. I'm in a security moment as a business. The second, I'm using the low properties, but I have a data. Okay, I don't have all the skills, I don't have a potential or a prompt to innovate, but I have a data to survive. I am using this data, test, make mistakes, but test, but I have a data, I have a resource to survive. Okay. In the other hand, in the right of the screen, not in the left, the opposite of low properties, you have the right properties. So you are moving for the best scenario. Imagine you keeping with an available data, but you have a high prompts. You have a people extremely prepared for make the innovation happen, for adding your own knowledge stock or your personal knowledge stock, your personal experience in terms of the knowledge that have been doing anything, any times, but don't have a data. So you are moving this organization for the next steps, but be in mind that you're moving just for more one step because you don't have more knowledge. In techniques, you can say you don't have more knowledge stock available for you apply because you don't have a data to create information, to transform information in a new knowledge. But you are moving, okay? Based on the efforts you are moving. And the fourth scenario is a state of the art. You have a data and you have a high promise to innovate. So you are in the state of the art. You have a lot of resources in terms of the data and you have a high promise to innovate. So this is the best scenario. Okay. Okay, let's keep discussing. Uh, all the slide that I present until now is based on the spinner innovation model that I said for the audience. It is exactly the first part of the spin innovation. This is the model in terms of the spin innovation for analyzing the prompts to innovate, for make the diagnosis, identify the simple way of the potential of this enterprise. Then, as I said, my colleagues that have been using the spinner innovation in their summer research asked me to think in a flow of knowledge or in a knowledge flow. So now we have two models. We have the first spinner, we have the first spinner model and have the second knowledge flow. Okay, so the model is for the diagnosis, and the knowledge flow is try to help to support startups, firms, or SMEs structure and analyze the evolution of the process in terms of the innovation. Let's explain. On my left here, you have a public knowledge, and behind the flow, have a private knowledge. So, as I explained for the audience and colleagues and professor researchers, private knowledge is the knowledge already exists inside the business, the enterprise, and the public is the knowledge that are available and that you need part of this knowledge to use inside this flow that I explained now. So the idea is to cross these 9 steps until arrive on the market. So we have two ways to think. I can analyze some trends and can prepare some innovations to bring value using these innovations or knowledge intensive solution as a product or service for the market. Another one, I can looking for the customer needs on the market and identify these specific needs and bring back to the organization and analyze if I have a promise to innovate to support these market needs and if I have a data available to support and transform in information, in knowledge, and in the value in terms of the knowledge intense solution for these customer needs on the market. Okay, so explain. So imagine I'm working only with the startups, not firms and the SMEs now. Then I will explain how can you combine the three options. The first options in my example now is only working with startups. So the four main variables of the model are knowledge creation, knowledge transfer, innovation, and between knowledge creation, knowledge transfer, and innovation, you have a knowledge intensive solutions that you are providing. Okay, but after you provide this solution and you consider the solution as innovation result, we need before that to analyze the evolution step by step and considering KPIs and considering some practice in terms of the knowledge creation, knowledge transfer, knowledge intensive solutions for you analyze the evolution of your job, your work. So TRL is a scale with 9 items created by American Space Agency. American space agents create this TRL scale for measure the maturity of technological business. So people have been working and create some innovations in terms of the business and the product and services based on technological approach for American space agency. And American space agencies have been measuring the maturity, the stage of maturity of these technological solutions using this scale. Okay. So you're using this as a strong and good reference to support our flow. So imagine you are a startup and you need to create the knowledge, you need to transfer the knowledge, you need to create innovation. And of course, doing these three main variables or three main steps, if you are considered as a process, you are in the end of this process, you are living for the marketing knowledge intensive solution with value added to support economic growth, economic development, and have a social impact for your local community. So imagine I need to analyze in terms of the knowledge creation three steps, TRL 1, 2, and 3. Then knowledge transfer TRL 4, 5, and 6. And then TRL 7, 8, and 9 in terms of the innovation. Why? Three levels for analyzing innovation. Because this is the evolution in terms of the maturity. Suppose now, in the end of this presentation, I create an innovation. But I need to put this innovation on the market. I need to test. I need to verify. I need to receive feedbacks. I need to adapt, and so on and so on. So I am iterating in terms of the evolution with my knowledge intensive solution. Okay. So the same idea that I explained using a startup as a reference, you can do it with KIBS firms, the firm that have a strong knowledge. Example, consultancy firm is a kind of KIBS firms. And then, of course, you have SMEs. So another example near than you in terms of the KIBS firms is a Spinner Innovation Center. It's my center. Is a specific firm that, but in my case, I'm not a firm exactly, but I'm a research center that an innovation center, research center that I have been working with innovation and providing a strong knowledge in innovation to support the university. I will create another scenario to be more clear. Imagine we are using this flow, but not from startup to SME, from university or research centers to SME. So I can change startup to universities. I can change firms to Spin Innovation Center, and I can leave the SMEs at the same place. So we are using university research center to create knowledge. You are using Spin Innovation Center as example of the KIBS firms to accelerate this evolution in terms of the knowledge transfers, and you are leaving all this knowledge to SMEs to support the economic growth. So this is the main idea in terms of the Spin, as I introduced in the beginning of the presentation. You can invite some partners for your ecosystem. You can use different techniques. It's an inclusive model. It's an open source model. This is the great idea in terms of the Spin innovation. Okay. So as I said, I created a checklist for the model, and you have a checklist for the knowledge flow. So for you try to use the knowledge flow to structure the process, invite your partnerships in your ecosystem, your own ecosystem, or you are being part in the other ecosystem. We need to identify what is your business, who to produce, or what is your target, or what is your market, or what is your customer, or what is your client, or so on like that. How to produce, how much to produce, what to produce, what is your process, what is your competency skills, what is your partners, what is your technology available, or technology that you need to support your processes. What is your knowledge creation practice that you use it or have been using? The same for knowledge transfer practice. What is your innovation that happening or it needs to happen? What is your values in terms of the culture, behaviors, aspects? What is your time to change? If you have the money, if you have the funding, if you don't have the money, don't have the funding. What is your KPIs, or how can you measure this process in terms of the innovation evolution? what is your vision, what are you would you like to say in the future, what you'd like to say in the next 3, 4, 5, any times in terms of the years, and looking for the present, what is your purpose, sorry, what is the main ideas in terms of the people who are engaged on this big transformation named innovation. So this is a big cause. What is your purpose? Okay. So this is examples in terms of the item that you need to bring for the discussion. So the main idea before you using is to create a dialogue process, discuss with your team. Okay. So support all these studies that I have been doing since 2018. This is some examples in terms of the scientific publications. We have here, I brought for the audience 2 papers that I published in index journals. And you have the model 1 example in terms of the book chapter index. But I have I have several papers and book chapters finished, published, and the one that I published this year that was accepted for the editors. I think until the end of this year, they will have more 5 between papers and book chapters for sharing with all the audience, totally free. If you like to have access, you can, of course, looking exactly directly on the scientific database, but sometimes the database don't are available in terms of the access. You can try to access my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn have all the papers that I publish. And if you're not available in my LinkedIn because some platform can block it, send me a message through my LinkedIn. I can support you in terms of the Spinner innovation model, totally free. It's my mission. My mission in the world is share my knowledge in terms of expertise. I'm saying that my mission in this world is to share the innovation, content, innovation knowledge that I have with all the world in terms of the students and the university that we will apply to make your region, your country, the better world to live. Okay. Here, I would like to introduce my best friend and colleague and was supervisor in my postdoc economic and management, Professor Dr. João Ferreira. He is the coordinator of the PhD program in management in the Beira Interior University when I studied for 1 year in my postdoc. And of course, he is the core chairman of this Spinner Innovation Center. And I'm the founder and the chairman of the Spinner Innovation Center. So we have the Spinner Innovation model, we have the Spinner Knowledge Flow, and you have now the Spinner Innovation Center. So a good news in terms of the evolution of the Spinner innovation. First, we start with the Spinner innovation model, then we design and present for you the knowledge flow, the Spinner knowledge and flow. Then we create the Spinner Innovation Center, and now in the end of this October, we have more to surprise on news for all the students, PhD students in universities. We are launching the Spinner Innovation Platform when you can, as a PhD student, you can use our own questionnaire, own Spinner Innovation Questionnaire, our own scale, totally free for you. We need to only configure it, choose some options in terms of the variable on your questionnaire, using our scale, Spinner scale. Then you conclude this information that you choose. You made your choice, and you send this questionnaire, your own questionnaire that you configure for anyone that you need to collect data. So you can share this link after you configure to collect the data using Spinner Innovation model. And at the end of this process, you can make the download of this database that you collect, and you can use it for make your own analysis using suppose SPSS softwares, R softwares, and the others that you have more affinity to use. Okay, be more comfortable to use. And you can use this Spinner Innovation Platform to access, of course, researchers around the world, researches already published, the Spinner methodology, whatever you need, make contact. This is a kind of ecosystem. You can contact another researchers in the famous and the strong researchers in innovation topics and so on, so on. And of course, we can follow, we can manage your own process. Then when you are collecting data, you can identify the number of responses, the time you have to conclude this process. So it's totally free for your university, okay? And of course, for you and your supervisor, it's our contribution. This is the evolution of the Spinner branding, the Spinner contribution for the society. So, guys, just more one before I conclude, more one thing that you bring for the students around the world, totally free, it will be the Spin Innovation Program for professors using as a teaching process with the students at the university in 4 steps. Okay, but in the end of October, I think we have a time to launch it, including the platform. Thank you very much for all the audience, colleagues, professors, researchers, academic directors, rectors, and so on, for this amazing, amazing opportunity. And I wait that I have opportunity to share with you this news that I told you now. Thank you very much. My LinkedIn is on the screen. If you'd like to keep in touch, go ahead and add me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your wonderful presentation and such a powerful content and powerful model which you have given to the world. And I really enjoyed your presentation. It was full of knowledge, and it was the hard work I could see you have already put in that. And since it's been long, it's almost 6 years we have been working and tracing all the things related to the spinner innovation model. It's really wonderful. Hats off to you. What you are doing is a fantastic job, and I'm sure people around the world who are watching this webinar, they would be taking advantage of this wonderful presentation and the information which you have shared. Definitely they will be in contact with you for further guidance and for further research collaboration with you, as you are a person who are always ready with a smile face to collaborate and share your knowledge. And I love your mission, which you have already said. It's a wonderful mission. Prof, we have certain questions for you. The audience wants to ask a certain question from you. The first question, since you are related to innovation and all these things, their first concern is uh, artificial intelligence is no longer the future, it's the present. Please share your experiences and relate it to innovation. The second and third question is also somehow related. Let me just put them together so that you could answer in a one go. Second question is, which is again related to artificial intelligence. That is, will mathematics help to improve artificial intelligence so that it will achieve human qualities of artistic creativity and innovation? Your opinion on that, please. And the third question, which is again related to artificial intelligence, that is, can innovations be or can be created by artificial intelligence or only by human? Yes, your take on that, please.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. It's a very stimulating questions. So
Yeah.
I try to answer previous the future created trends. Good, good. So I can explain just I can give you an answer based on two fantastic questions according to my experience that I have been living now. So now working, I'm studying my second PhD. I'm doing my second PhD.
Yes.
This PhD is provided by the university named Nova IMS Information Management School. It's a top university in the Portugal and Lisbon, specifically in the machine learning, in the data science, in the geoinformatics, in data driven, and so on and so on. So I have been studying this second PhD in the geoinformatics. So this idea is similar to these questions. I love these two questions because this is the reason that I explain now. So you are working with a strong mathematics. We are working with a strong statistics. This is the main goal of this is the core of this PhD program, mathematics and statistics. So we believe in three things. We believe that for the future, data will be the new petroleum, the new oil, okay, the new petrol. So if you bring value for your community, your society, your country, you need to work a lot and very, very hard with data. So you can work with the data in the predictive models, in the corrective models, and so on, so on. Independent in the needs, you need to use the data. But for you use the data, it's not simple. It's not you collect data and put data in a database. It's necessary to use some techniques as machine learning. You can use some approach as artificial intelligence. You can use a lot of mathematics and statistics to support this data analysis. So I believe that mathematics, technology, and statistics will be the three main areas for the next futures. Next futurists, not for next future, next generation. Regarding the artificial intelligence question, I think artificial intelligence and machine learning will be two good options to support innovation, not to make the innovation happen, but to support, to have more quality in terms of the innovation result. And the question, if I remember correct, the question if the artificial intelligence can support a human process, I think in my own opinion, artificial intelligence exists based on the human process. So you not invite artificial intelligence without human process. You are using human process as the reference to create the artificial intelligence. So the opposite, I think. I like to think the opposite way. But if you have more capacity in terms of the human, in terms of the collect data, make a stronger analysis using this data, using a stronger techniques in terms of the mathematics, strong techniques in terms of the statistics, create a good performance with a small group. In the beginning, has a pilot group and apply artificial intelligence for monitoring and reproducing this behavior. And if you consider this human behavior before you use the artificial intelligence for innovation, if you consider this human behavior and you validate the results, stronger results in terms of innovation, suppose process innovation, market innovation, service innovation, technology innovation, or business innovation, whatever in terms of the outputs, if you validate this model, this process, this behavior in a specific sector, in a specific region, in a specific place, in a specific enterprise, I think, I suppose, of course, you need to test because I'm scientific. I need to test, and test to improve. But I think you can reproduce this process. I put the name process to be more simple in this model. I can reproduce this process in artificial intelligence and use this to get more competitive, more advantage competitivity in the others markets, reproducing the same model. I think artificial intelligence has a strong contribution for the innovation. I think machine learning have a strong contribution for techniques analysis, statistics, and mathematics will be the same approach in terms of the value for support data analysis. Thank you very much for this fantastic question. I love it.
Yeah, thank you very much for such an elaborative answer for that. Yeah, we do understand the artificial intelligence contribution towards the innovation. Okay, Prof, they have another question that how do you see the impact of COVID-19 on the management of innovation? Yes, your opinion on that, please.
Yes, it's a simple opinion. I think, of course, we have the impact. But when you analyze the impact, analyze the positive and the negative impact, because impact is impact. Result is a result. We have a positive, we have a negative result. For some markets, some economic sector, COVID-19 was very, very positive. Suppose for the technology approach, COVID-19 was very positive because accelerates the evolution of the technology, bring more value in terms of the technology, bring more quality in terms of technology systems as you are using now for this conference and the others that already exist. But some others economic sector, the COVID-19 was very, very, very hard, making some disasters in terms of the business. But looking for the innovation, suppose in the healthy sector, this is the message that COVID-19 brought a strong innovation process, accelerates the innovation process. Is an example in terms of, so I mean that it's not as simple to analyze the impact of COVID-19 around the world in the general idea. You need to look for specific countries, specific areas, in the specific sector as economic approach for you analyze. Suppose in Portugal, I can say that the business transformation, the digital maturity, the digital transformation, and the other similar words in terms of the steps have been more value for a public sector. Suppose you can use this in the public sector, you can use this in the health sector. Universities having been using this, universities are living these transformations for all the time, changing, create a new content, producing new videos with more quality, using chat robot to support, using blockchain a lot. In Portugal, the universities are using blockchain technology a lot to validate the certificate, to start a relationship, to supporting, to receiving documents sent by the students for apply the others course and so on, so on. So I think that the evolution already exists and the evolution keep existing, but depending of the country, the sector, you can accelerate this process according to the impact of COVID-19, and the others you completely lost the time to make the change because people, organizations, and countries are not prepared for this strong and quickly changing.
Yeah. Very
So,
nicely said.
sorry,
Yeah.
just to conclude, I think the best way to be more competitive is to stay prepared for the change, you identify the change, identify the trends, and believe the trends and the changes happen all the time.
Mm. Very nicely said, Prof. Once again, thank you very much for such
You're
elaborate.
welcome.
Yeah. Another question is related to intellectual capital. As you know, a lot of importance is associated with the intellectual capital. The question is intellectual capital changing with new innovations? Yes, please.
Yes, if I understood it correctly about the intellectual capital, my studies intellectual capital using other approach. Example, for us, when they said intellectual capital, only intellectual capital for us in your Spin Innovation Center, you are saying knowledge.
Mm.
So the knowledge that exists in the people, it is like intellectual capital for us. But according to the science, intellectual capital is bigger than that. You can add in relation capital, you can add a structural capital and others type of capital in the capital, intellectual capital. But I think, to be simple, intellectual capital, independently if I add in relationship, if I add in process, structure, and other types of the capital inside intellectual capital, I believe that intellectual capital is the main resource to support the innovation process because it's based on the knowledge, and knowledge is based on the information, and information is based on the data, and data is based on the mathematical and statistical analysis. So it's connected. I mean that it's impossible, in my own opinion, it's very, very impossible and hard in this moment, for the next future, you work without an ecosystem. So I can invite, it's a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary ecosystem for innovation. I can invite engineers, I can invite mathematics, I can invite statistics, I can invite psychology to make and contribute with your own intellectual capital. Apply, I suppose, as example, spin innovation model, but using this is expertise. It's so important for you to try to make innovation happen because spin innovation, it's a model, it's a process, it's a KPIs, it's a management and economic approach. But if you don't have a people engaged, motivated, prepared, support with some tools in terms of the skills and the technology, this match process will not happen.
Yes. Very nicely said. Very
I'm
nicely.
not. I'm saying that I'm not believing in technology. I'm not believing in process. I'm not believing in. I don't believe. Sorry, in process. I don't believe in technology. I don't believe in business. I don't believe. I believe just one thing. I believe in people.
Yes.
For me, people transform anything, any idea, any word, everything. People is the best to transform.
Love
So
it.
you need to transform the people to transform the business, to transform the world. That's the idea that I have been working with this business. And I need to transform or contribute to transform the students to be better professional in the future, to make your resume better, and to transform your country and contribute to transform the world. This is a big cause, a big proposal, it's a big challenge. And I'm inviting every day colleagues, universities, research centers to stay in the same idea of this, the same philosophy of the Spin Innovation Center to try to transform the world in a better world to more equal world in terms of the science, equal world in terms of the science.
Yes, wonderful. Very nice to hear that all. Thank you very much. Since we have a lot of questions, but due to time constraint, we have to
Yes, I
close
need
it
to
here.
go.
Yeah. Prof, what is your message to the world as a teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, and educator?
As a human, as a human, my message for all the audience in the world is believe, and do everything you believe. Independent if you have a resistance, independent it will be difficult, but believe and do that you believe, do that have a pleasure for you. You will not transform the world, but you can contribute for transform part of the world. That's the
Yes.
idea.
Wonderful, wonderful. We highly recommend the work of the Professor Ronnie Figueredo. He's doing wonderful job. Do read his research papers and model in detail because they are extremely important to learn more about innovation. Moreover, he's a wonderful person and always available to help you and to take you to the next level. So please, what is your concluding remarks? And then we finally close it down after a short note.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I believe that innovation is the key element in order to be competitive in today's dynamic world. The role of knowledge creation, knowledge transfer is so important, and indeed a wonderful explanation and powerful content which the great speaker has already elaborated will help you to learn and develop. Take advantage of all the information, important tips and suggestions shared by an expert. Moreover, do read his research paper and his work. We end with the quote that there is a popular quote that innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. So that's all we have time for today. Thank you once again, Dr. Ronnie Figueredo, and also the audience who joined us. If you have any additional question about the information shared today, please email us or you can directly connect to the speaker through his email or social media. We will provide his information. Thank
Thank
you
you
all
very
for
much.
your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. So, till next session, stay safe and take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.